Televiewers on my Media Prime Television, thank you so much for tuning in once again on this other edition of The Brief, your favorite bilingual program, which is always dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the Ninong Cultural Festival, which took place in Kupemwanenguba Division, that's in Bangem, in the southwest region of the country recently. We shall zoom on that cultural festival that wrapped up on the 20th of this month. That was over the weekend. We shall equally talk about what experts are saying when it comes to the resolution of the Anglophone crisis, and we are told that a U.S. diplomat is urging or calling for an internationally supervised referendum to end the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Qatar World Cup 2022, the Indomitable Lions takes on Switzerland tomorrow. Preparations ahead of that crucial match, which will take place tomorrow, the very first match of the Indomitable Lions at the ongoing Qatar World Cup 2022. Gwladys Bomotonguina is here. Let's have the headlines in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous et merci de rester fidèle à Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur My Media Prime Télévision. Mesdames, Messieurs, pour cette troisième édition de la semaine, nous allons débuter avec Mutation quotidien qui nous amène ce matin dans les universités d'État au Cameroun. En effet, le journal l'intitule en grand titre Bain de jouvence, un recrutement spécial de 450 enseignants annoncé lundi dans la foulée de la publication des résultats de la troisième phase de l'opération d'embauche dans la fonction publique. C'est du moins l'information parue ce matin dans Mutation quotidien et les détails sont en page 7. En page 4, le journal nous amène à Bokito, dans le Mbam et Inugu, pour parler ici d'une affaire d'empoisonnement qui choque dans cette partie du pays. En page 6, le journal nous parle de peine de mort. La voix des Camerounais se fait donc entendre à Berlin. Nous continuons ce matin avec l'info à chaud. Mesdames, Messieurs, l'info à chaud ce matin nous parle en grand titre de la Coupe du Monde Qatar 2022. Le journal a intitulé à grand titre Union sacrée à Doha, pour parler ici de la visite d'encouragement de la délégation officielle du Cameroun aux Lions indomptables en entraînement mardi 22 novembre 2022 à Doha au Qatar, sous la conduite donc du professeur Narcisse Moelle Kombi, ministre des Sports et de l'Éducation physique MINSEP, chaleureusement et humblement accueilli ici par monsieur Samuel Etofis, président de la FECAFOOT. Les détails sont en page 9 jusqu'en page 10 de l'info à chaud ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous continuons avec l'économie quotidienne. Ce matin parle aussi de Qatar 2022. L'API s'associe donc à la FECAFOOT pour promouvoir ici la destination Cameroun. Les détails sont en page 3 de l'économie quotidienne ce matin. Parlons à présent de loi de finances 2022. La taxe sur les téléphones portables refait surface après l'approche arrêtée dans la loi de finances 2019 qui avait été vivement contestée et annulée. Le gouvernement propose un nouveau mécanisme de collecte. Les détails sont donc en page 2 de l'économie quotidienne ce matin. Nous restons dans le même journal en page 5. Le journal nous parle de cacao de qualité, 50 millions de francs CFA pour les producteurs du Dja et Lobo. Nous restons dans le même journal en page 6. Le journal nous parle de COP 27, proposition de la BAD pour la réussite, le financement climatique en Afrique. Nous continuons, nous clôturons ce matin avec le journal bleu, le journal Le Jour, qui nous parle ici en grand titre d'inflation. Pour parler de la vie chère, les ménagères n'en peuvent plus au Cameroun face à la hausse incessante des produits de denrées alimentaires. De nombreuses ménagères réinventent donc leurs habitudes. Les détails sont en page 2 jusqu'à 3 du journal Le Jour ce matin. En page 7, le journal nous parle de la Fondation Forestia, une subvention de 250 millions de francs CFA pour les femmes et les jeunes. Mesdames, Messieurs, voilà pour vos titres ce matin en langue française. Place à la découverte des titres en langue anglaise avec Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Let's kickstart with Eco Outlook newspaper this morning. Eco Outlook is interested in the Ninong cultural festival in the southwest region of the country. Ninong community celebrates 2022 cultural festival in grand style. Get full details of that cultural festival in this edition of Eco Outlook newspaper on pages 6 and 7 of this edition of the newspaper. We leave Eco Outlook newspaper. We're taking you to the Herald Tribune. The Herald Tribune newspaper is very much interested in Bia Special Envoy Atanganji, who was in Boya to inaugurate the PCC Sinok office. Paul Atanganji, representing the head of state, President Paul Biya, over the weekend inaugurated the Sinok office, the ultra-modern structure that was constructed by the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon to host officials of the said institution. Get full details in this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper. 2023 state budget, taxes may hike and amid high cost of living in the country. The Minister of Finance of the country, Louis Paul Motaze, was in Parliament recently, where it was revealed that taxes may go up amid high cost of living in the country. We leave the Herald Tribune newspaper. We're taking you to the Guardian Post to talk about the outing of a U.S. diplomat after Canadian researcher. U.S. diplomat proposes internationally supervised referendum to end Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. New perspectives have continued to surface in the form of proposals on the way out of the Anglophone crisis, which morphed into an armed conflict in 2017. The several opinions from conflict experts, researchers, and diplomats have in recent times triggered varied reactions from several sectors, despite the backlash which some of the said actors have received for daring to share their thoughts on what they think is the way out to end the Anglophone crisis or the bloodletting in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. More persons have not stopped linking or talking about the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. This time around, the fresh proposal has figured out what is said to be addressing the diaspora divide with the population of the northwest and southwest regions of the country, and the sustained split between those who want outright independence and those fronting for a change in the form of state. Get full details on page 3 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And the Guardian Post is also telling us that the World Bank has warned that climate change could result in 2% GDP loss for Cameroon in 2050. Get full details of the report of the World Bank that talks about climate change that can or that could lead to the reduction of Cameroon GDP by 2% in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And let's talk about Bankomo subdivision, where government begins paying 1.6 billion francs CFA indemnities to families affected by Maxi project. Full details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. On to Cameroon Echoes. Cameroon Echoes newspaper is focusing on Komba Ekondo Titi road construction, where Meme Indian populations pledge support to be engineering unit. Say enough is enough. Road is a veritable element of development. Full details in this edition of Cameroon Echoes newspaper that you can get on newspapers kiosk this morning in Cameroon. News or new Sinok office, positive legacy for PCC moderators team. Get full details of the ultra-modern structure that was constructed under the leadership of the Right Reverend Samuel Fonki Forba, who is the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. On to the national bilingual daily Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune is interested in the outing of Communication Minister at the National Assembly. Communication Minister presents a situation of media in the country. The paper tells us further that an overview of the working conditions of journalists of privately owned media organs, the impact of these conditions on the output or their editorial productions as well as measures envisaged to improve the legislature framework were center of discussions at the National Assembly by the Communication Minister Rene Emmanuel Sadi with a network or parliamentary network or the Committee on Cultural Affairs of the National Assembly. That was yesterday, November 22nd, 2022 in Yaoundé. Get full details on pages 6 and 7 of this edition of the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune. Qatar World Cup first upset registered against all odds or speculations. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina by 2-1 yesterday, November 22, 2022, with all its star players, notably Lionel Messi. And of course, Cameroon is fine-tuning tactics to enter the competition tomorrow against Switzerland. Read the focus of Cameroon Tribune on pages 39 through 46 of this edition of the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. Amadou Tante is already with us in the studio. Good morning, Amadou Tante, and welcome once again.
Once more, good morning, Mr. Lasha. Good morning to Gwladys. With your due permission, let me use this opportunity to thank the team of My Media Prime for the wonderful, amazing job they have been doing, and equally to thank you people for giving me the opportunity, because the opportunity you have given me on their platform has really helped me. It's really helping me on building my career, and I think I'm really improving on my communication skill. And thanks to you guys of the brief. It's really a pleasure for me to always be guest on your program.
And it's also an opportunity shared. We also want to thank you for the work that they have been doing in denouncing some of the right violations that are often perpetrated in the Northwest Littoral and of course Southwest regions of the country. You are working closely with some international organization in fighting for the rights of the common man in those English-speaking regions of the country.
Thank you. So it's my work, and I'm determined and passionate about it.
Okay, let's now talk about Kumba Ekondo Titi route construction over there in the Southwest region, where the Meme and Diam populations are pledged to support the military or engineering corps that took over the construction of the said stretch of route. And this morning, Cameroon Echoes is focusing on that the population have said enough is enough for those who want to disrupt the construction of that stretch of route. And of course, it was a civilian company that was constructing the route. And due to insecurity and perpetrated or continuous attacks on workers of the civilian company, the military engineering corps decided to take over the route. Amadou Tante.
Well, permit me say the construction of a road is very important. We often say that where the route passes, development follows. But at least I think those who are fighting in this region were supposed to at least permit some of these developmental issues, even though they might be against their own principles. And the fact that apart from that, I equally think that these things is either exposing the life. If maybe the separatist fighters are not accepting that the road for construction should go on, rather than bringing the military, still be exposing the lives of this military, because they are all Cameroonian. When they want to forcefully construct the road now, we will equally expose the lives of those who are involved in the construction company at risk. At least to the best of my knowledge, I think it's even preferable that the government should concentrate on seeking a lasting solution to the problem, so that after the peace would have returned, I think all of these things will go on without any wastage of any human life.
Life has to go on, whether they are seeking a lasting solution or whatever stuff. Life has to go on.
That is true. Life should go on, but without exposing the lives of other civilians or other Cameroonians to danger. Because if you say that life has to go on and go about doing some other things, knowing very well that we are endangering or exposing the life of someone to danger, it will be ridiculous. It means that we want to kill our own people.
Okay, and the Guardian Post is also telling us that after Canadian researcher has talked about internationally supervised referendum in the Northwest and Southwest region to end the Anglophone crisis, a U.S. diplomat is also proposing internationally supervised referendum to end the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions of the country. Should we be talking about a referendum? You did mention, talked about addressing the root causes of the problem that we are having, and here a U.S. diplomat is proposing what he terms internationally supervised referendum.
Well, I think an international supervised referendum can equally be a good initiative to seek lasting solutions to the problem. But that notwithstanding, as I keep saying, I'm not against any strategy that's geared to a resolution of the crisis, because I think when we are in the quest of peace, we have to dig above any, to any. We have to
referendum could be interpreted by some quarters as a disguised way of trying to promote separation of Cameroon, because as it is now, when you talk about referendum, there are questions that will be asked regarding to form of state.
No, but to the best of my knowledge, I think that when something as such come in, what they often do is that they will define the real content of what they are talking about. If they are talking about referendum, they have to give their own real content or their own real definition of the kind of referendum they are referring to. Because it's true that if done in,
no, but just at the mention of the word referendum, everybody is already thinking about giving opportunity for people to vote whether they want to stay with the French part of Cameroon or they want to go away. That's what many people interpret when they talk of referendum. They'll be thinking in that light. Same thing that happened to Cardinal Toumé when he wanted to organize the All Anglophone Conference. He was misrepresented as somebody who wanted to organize a referendum, because as per what people were saying, whatever thing that would have come out from Buea, organized by Cardinal Toumé, will be endorsed by the international community.
Yeah, so I believe that some of the problem we keep facing is that when something as such come in, like most Cameroonians prefer to read the book only from the cover. They don't just read the cover of the book. They don't go deep into the content to find out what exactly is this book talking about. We read only the headlines of a newspaper and conclude what is written on what is written on the newspaper. That's what is causing most of our problem. When you come across something as such, at least what we need to do is that to go deep into the issue to find out exactly what is this thing talking about. And when we must have read through everything and found out exactly what the book is talking about, we can now come out maybe with our criticism, because we know that normally there will always be criticisms on everything we do in life.
So when they talk, according to you, what kind of referendum should we be talking about?
Well, I keep saying that everything should
because
be.
You said
I keep saying that to my own point of view. I keep saying that the kind of referendum I would suggest is the referendum that will be decided, the one that will be decided by the people on the table. Because when anything that is done, before people come out and sit on the table, there must have been consultation in the background. So during their consultation, they should make sure that they unanimously agree on anything I know that will favor all the parties.
But if they agree on the table, why conduct another referendum?
No, just like consultation process. When you are coming to consult somebody, you must tell the person what you are consulting, what the content of what you want him to go on and sit on the table to talk is all about, and you debate with the person. The person will give you his own idea, and if he agree with what you are saying, he might not come to the table when the right time comes to come and sit and debate on maybe on the issues that will be on the table. If not, if the person disagree with you during the consultation process, it obviously means that the person cannot be part of the table to talk about what you are asking him to do.
So the internationally supervised referendum, who will supervise the referendum? We are talking about supervision. Who is supposed to supervise? The UN, or which international organization we talking about?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that we have to, when they say something, we have to read detailing into what they are saying. But when you read, you realize whosoever they might only propose, because they're only proposition. Because when you are looking for solution through dialogue or negotiation or anything as such, we have to propose to people that maybe we are soliciting for African Union or the European Union together with the United Nations or United States of America and all the rest. Supposed to make proposition for them to decide whether they want maybe an African country or an African organization or international.
So is the Canadian researcher alongside the US diplomat, are they saying that Cameroonians cannot solve their problems?
No, I think they are not obviously saying that because the Cameroonians cannot solve their problem. Because some of the things when they say we need a mediator is just coming in to guide us.
Internationally supervised referendum, does it mean that Cameroonians, as per what the Canadian researcher has said and the US diplomat, cannot solve their problems?
No, I believe that Cameroonians can solve their problem. The only problem I'm facing here is that because when the problem starts, it's like the Anglophone crisis, when it started at the beginning, I think it was very easy for government of Cameroon to solve the problem. But as long as the conflict keep escalating, it keep giving different faces on everything, so it makes it very, very complicated for Cameroonians to solve the problem. That's why we have been soliciting for a third-party mediator to be on the table, so as to at least guide them to take their own decision. Because the third party is only coming to guide them, not to take decision on behalf of the conflicting parties, but only to guide them to take the right decision that will favor them, or the right decision that will give a lasting solution to a problem we are going through, and also a cosmetic solution that will give another future conflict in the long run.
Vous pensez qu'effectivement cet appui international va résoudre le problème dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest?
Yeah, I think so. I think an international supervised mediation or negotiation whatsoever can bring a lasting solution to the problem we are going through in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon.
Quel est leur intérêt? Quel est leur profit?
No, the issue is not an issue of interest, because generally we know very well that, as I said, I keep saying that Cameroon is not an island like any other country. Most of them they work whatsoever they are doing, they do it with the international community or with international partners. Each and every one of them have their own interest. Cameroon have an interest, or meanwhile the international partners has their own interest. Because it's just a win-win game, not as if somebody is benefiting, another one is losing.
Ok. À présent, parlons de l'économie un peu, parlons de la loi de finances 2022. Le journal L'économie quotidien nous révèle ce matin que la taxe sur les téléphones portables refait surface.
This issue of continuous increase of prices on basic commodities and
Non, c'est
everything
pas encore...
this one on the tax on the phone.
Oui, la taxe sur les téléphones.
On
avait suspendu. Apparemment, elle refait surface.
This is why I think the brain or the way of reasoning of our leaders in Cameroon seems to be archaic, the ancient way of reasoning. Because when I learn so anything that has to do with increment in price of anything in Cameroon here is regrettable. Because my problem is that we have continuous increase of prices of things in Cameroon, but the salary of people are not increasing, and they are not creating jobs for Cameroonians. At least the problem should not be the increase of price of something, but it should be the improvement of the living standard of people as well.
Pourquoi est-ce que les Camerounais doivent payer une taxe sur les téléphones en fait?
No, well, that's what they are saying. Because if I think that is something very necessary and very urgent, and they think is very important, and first of all, we don't even know what they are doing with those money. When they collect this money, we don't know how the money end up. They end up at the same time investing all the money.
Mais pourquoi asphyxier les populations jusqu'à ce degré? Parce qu'on est aujourd'hui, on parle de la vie chère au Cameroun. La ménagère au Cameroun, elle ne vit plus, elle survit, et on veut encore parler de l'impôt ou la taxe sur les téléphones.
That's why I was saying that this people seem to have they have archaic way of reasoning. They are still using the ancient way of reasoning. Because normally,
the reality.
Cameroon is exposed to danger. Because the increase of
Cameroon
price
money.
Can lead to anything, can lead to chaos and whatsoever problem.
Cameroon needs money. Cameroon needs money. The state needs money to run projects and other expenses. It's only but normal for the tax, for the budget to go up.
No,
faced with the difficulties, multiple
in a normal civil
difficulties.
society, no, it's true that the state did money, but the problem is the management of the money as well. So it should not only be the issue of giving money. Cameroon keep borrowing money from everywhere, all the angle. But what do they end up doing with this money?
Devons-nous dire réellement que le Cameroun a besoin d'argent lorsque nous voyons des ministres avoir volé beaucoup d'argent au Cameroun?
That's what I was saying, because the issue is that Cameroon actually need money. The problem is that when they give money, those money are not allocated to the.
Mais comment est-ce que le Cameroun a besoin d'argent et pourtant on a des gens qui ont des centaines de milliards de francs CFA en leur possession qui appartiennent aux Camerounais?
That's a very big issue that we keep talking on a daily basis, that Cameroonians or our leaders keep spending their own time investing money instead of fighting for the basic interests of Cameroonians. So those are some of the pertinent issues.
So what are the MPs doing that are supposed to correct or check government action? What are the MPs doing at the
No, I think the issue in Cameroon is this issue there's no power separation of power, because actually there's no real separation of power in Cameroon, where everything is controlled by the government. So whatsoever decided by the government or the president of the republic is what will pass through the parliament. They just go there and sing song and dance and then pass through, make the law that have been sent to them by the government.
Parce que il s'agit ici d'une loi qui va venir encore martonner sur la tête des Camerounais en même temps.
They don't does not care. When they sit there in Yaoundé, they say that no, everything is going on well in Cameroon. As long as Yaoundé is living well, everybody is living well in Cameroon.
Est-ce que tout le monde vit bien à Yaoundé, Amadou Tanti?
No, I'm talking about those the leadership position, those who are managing the economy or the economy of Cameroon, who are managing the money of our country. Most of them are living a very comfortable life, and when they are comfortable and their children are comfortable in Europe or in Cameroon, they automatically assume that all Cameroonians are living very well without any problem. So that's the problem. At least they are supposed to reason like a common man and know what the common citizens of Cameroon are going through as well.
Est-ce que nous ne revenons pas ici à la question de savoir pourquoi est-ce que nos dirigeants ne sont pas votés par la population? Pourquoi est-ce qu'ils sont nommés?
No, there's not an issue of because
peut-être que s'ils étaient votés par la population, ils seraient en train de travailler pour le bien de la population.
No, it's not an issue of voting them, because the system. The problem now is the system. We have the president of the republic who claims to have been voted by Cameroonians, and we know what he's doing. He's not fighting for the interest of Cameroonians. Most of you see even some of the mayors and the members of parliament that were supposed to fight for the interest of Cameroon, but they spend time fighting for their own egoistic interests without caring about the interests of the ordinary people.
Okay.
This is serious. Amadou Tanti. Let's talk about this other issue that has to do with BIA Special Envoy at Tanganji, who was in the Southwest region to inaugurate the PCC Synop office in the Southwest region of the country. We were told that he equally, during the inaugural ceremony, received one of the guys who came up with a slogan that the Indomitable Lions is using now. Let us not focus on that. let's talk about the presence of Atanganji in the southwest region, donating hugely to the choirs that animated the inaugural ceremony.
Well, I first of all say that it's at least a good thing for the ministers who have gone there to inaugurate or to represent the President of the Republic to inaugurate this church, because normally the church is equally part of our economy. We cannot do without the church and all the rest. So those are some very, very important issues that should need to be done in Cameroon, because at the beginning we were saying, like Christain was doing, we were saying that the church have a very important role, and we all know that they have a very important role to play in our society, because these churches need to do everything possible to make sure that equal sensitized Cameroonians within their own church to at least to make Cameroonians understand things on the way it's supposed to be. So anything that's being done by this church, the government as well, I think.
Est-ce que à ce niveau, il faut juste parler d'encouragement de construction des églises et ne pas aussi prendre les idéologies ou bien les conseils qui viennent de ces églises?
Well, I would think that normally what I would say is that the best thing to do is not only because the construction or development is a very good issue, but problem now is the context at which you are constructed. Because there are some of these people or some of these churches or some of these organizations that you may see people coming out with very nice or innovative construction, but the people are not living in unity, or the people even within their own sector are not living in unity. But I think, to the best of my knowledge, I think unity should always be the first thing that should come first. When there is peace in everywhere, at least they will construct or do many things, and that people will enjoy it peacefully.
Parce qu'Amadou Tante, vous avez parlé ici du cardinal Christain qui disait que l'Église a un grand rôle à jouer dans la résolution de ce conflit dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest. La question que je vous posais, c'est de savoir si ce rôle à jouer est dans la construction des églises ou bien dans les conseils, dans le soutien moral que peut procurer l'Église.
No, I think when I'm saying that, I'm referring to the fact that the moral concept of it, because normally we assume that a Christian, a real Christian, is also somebody who have a very good moral background and give a good lesson to the community or to the society. Yeah, so that's why from that perspective that I was referring to.
Okay.
Let's talk about universities in the country. Mutation this morning is talking about the recruitment of teachers into state universities in the country. Amadou Tante. Government is recruiting once again, and of course, like Gwladys did mention in Mutation, the publication of the list of those teachers recruited was done recently, as per what Mutation is saying this morning.
Well, let me use this opportunity first of all to congratulate all those who have been selected or who have been selected on this program, while saying that at least we are praying to the government of Cameroon, as well as the Minister of Higher Education, to make sure that they limit the rate of corruption at which we are witnessing on this issue. Because I'm reliably informed by some of those who succeeded on this thing that they paid even up to 10 million francs to be admitted on this program. So we are praying that the government should give chance to equal opportunity to Cameroonians for them to be selected, and not by selecting people based on the money that they have, the corruption or bribery that they have given to be selected to that effect.
Up to 10 million?
Up to 10 million, that's why I've been reliably informed from somebody who succeeded in one of the universities in Cameroon.
So why have you not denounced? Why have you not denounced? So we are planning.
No, I mean denouncing the government, those who are responsible for that, because they are supposed to give equal opportunity to Cameroon, be it the poor or the rich person. They are supposed to give equal opportunity for them. There's somebody that they study, when they study a file and see that you are competent to do. I think those are some of the things that we are having a very bad input from our university. But they select people not based on merit and on original whatsoever, but on the amount of money that they are given. They are given to them.
How much salary would this? Before I forget, how much salary would these doctors earn to be able to recover the 10 million? Are they not going to be working in anarchy? You know, when they get there, they start bothering students, you know, asking for money, for handouts and whatever stuff, so that they could be able to recover their 10 million francs CFA.
No, that is what we know in Cameroon, because normally when you go somewhere and give bribe or something, as I give bribe to succeed in an exam, the first impression that will come to your mind once you have graduated or once you start working is to look for possible ways to recover back the money you gave there. So that's how we keep encouraging corruption and embezzlement and all the rest in the country. So those are the kind of funny things that keep happening in Cameroon.
Amadou Tante, vous pensez que ces personnes-là qui sont en charge des recrutements, ils ont vraiment le temps et la patience d'évaluer les dossiers de chaque Camerounais pour déterminer ceux qui sont compétents pour pouvoir avoir ces travaux?
Obviously, that is why these documents are being submitted to them. The reason why people submit their CV to them is for them to examine their CV and see and select those the things that are competent enough to give a Cameroonian student the best lesson that they are supposed to receive. So they're not by no matter how, even if you 1,000, for example, at the GCE board, just within 1 year, know the number of candidates that sit in for the exam. At the end, they correct all the scripts and mark them. This one does not even have this one can have just few thousand of it. on that they are supposed to select. So it's not. I don't think it's any comparison. Their problem can be the issue of taking time to study all this time, because that's exactly the reason why these files are submitted to them, for them to study and see those that are real competent and be selected to
on a eu l'année dernière beaucoup de grèves de la part des enseignants avec le mouvement OTS, on a trop supporté. Aujourd'hui, avec le recrutement, on parle ici de près de 450 000 enseignants qui ont été recrutés. Avec quel argent est-ce qu'on va les payer?
So I keep saying, sometimes the problem here is not even money. Our problem is not even money. The problem is also mismanagement of money, because at the end we realize that even some of the money has been disbursed to this university or to these people, but they end up using their money on other issues that were not even destined to that effect. Meanwhile, these teachers go about suffering, which is not a normal thing. So I think when money is destined to, they use the money to do what they're supposed to do.
The problem is bad leadership. Bad leadership.
Bad leadership. That's what I'm trying to refer to.
Amadou Tanté, aujourd'hui, nous nous retrouvons encore avec d'autres universités d'État créées et qui ne nous produisent pas des professionnels, qui nous produisent juste des diplômés. Est-ce que c'est véritablement la solution pour l'éducation au Cameroun?
No, that is not the solution to the problem in Cameroon. Because I think even had it been only one university called Christain University in Cameroon that is producing the real professionals. That when somebody is coming out of any of these universities, you have the knowledge to be a job creator by yourself and not a job seeker. I think that is the best thing we need in Cameroon. We don't need the issue of creating university everywhere without professionalizing it. I think professionalization of these things is the most important thing that Cameroonians need at this moment in time, because we know how our university students, what our university students go to, especially in some of this area where we all know about. So that is what it is.
Amadou Atante, L'Info and Show newspaper this morning is taking us to Doha in Qatar to talk about the preparations of the Indomitable Lions, the visit of Cameroonian delegation to the Indomitable Lions. Samuel Eto'o, who is the president of FECAFO, received yesterday the delegation led by the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Mwele Kombi, to give their support to the Indomitable Lions of the country, who are training ahead of tomorrow's crucial match against Switzerland. Almighty Argentina fell also yesterday. They were defeated by Iran by 2-1. Any hope for the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon as they take on Switzerland tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. I think there is hope for the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Because this issue,
when you look at Senegal, Senegal, the kind of game they play at the end of the day, they lost. When you look at the Indomitable Lions, do you have any hope?
No, I have hope, because the issue is that we are talking about a game here, and the game is a game as such is something that anything can happen. Because as we were saying, Senegal played very well, but at the end they were defeated. So just like Cameroon might either play very well at the end they defeat, or they might not play well, but at the end they will see defeat. So it's very possible. At least I'm still very optimistic that Cameroon will cross at least this first stage. Why we start thinking about the other stage of the game.
They recall that the way they qualified, what they went through to qualify, is still, many Cameroonians are still very scared with the team that is taking the country to Qatar.
No, actually, to me, I don't think there was any problem with regard to the qualification, because I know that there is a football governing organization that what we call
we narrowly qualified. I'm not saying that we didn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's game now. Once we are qualified, no matter how we manage to qualify.
By luck.
No, game. I said game is anything that has to do with anything. In fact, when you say game, it means that anything can happen. The result is unpredictable. Anything can happen. So even the smallest the team you think that is the smallest team might end up going very far, doing what you never even expected them to do.
Parce que beaucoup de Camerounais pensent que l'équipe nationale n'est pas véritablement en forme pour être à la Coupe du Monde.
No, I think the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, they are well prepared, and they will do the best, their own best, and bring us a very good result from Qatar. There's no problem. The issue here is that it's very normal for us to have criticism, and it's true leadership. One of the greatest challenges we always face is just criticism, and you need to be strong to receive all these criticisms and see on how you can manage it to arrange things very well. Because if you don't have an opposition, you will never do something well. There are some lapses that you might not be seeing. The importance of an opposition is to guide you, tell you that those are some of the things we're supposed to do, and from then now you can gather all those things. And
what makes you confident the Lions or the team, the technical team, Eto'o, Rigobert Song Bahana, what makes you confident? The people who are behind the Lions or the Lions themselves?
I think the first thing I would say here is that the Lion is being managed by an excellent team of Cameroonians. The first thing I'll start by congratulating them or these people for choosing Cameroonians to lead this group. And Eto'o, at the presence of Eto'o too, would not, apart from inspiring them, also he has equally been sharing his very marvelous experience, international experience with these people, these players. And I know that they will apply same to come out with a very good, excellent result for us.
Amadou Tanté, au regard de leur dernier match amical, vous pouvez véritablement affirmer ce que vous êtes en train de dire?
No, but yeah, it's true. But based on their, it's true that it end up in the one draw. So the issue is that I cannot be judging it based on their friendly match. But I know, I'm confident. I believe that Cameroon will, at least they will do more than they did on the previous World Cup that they attended.
De manière patriotique.
It's very, very patriotic indeed.
Okay.
So patriotism is what we count on.
Yeah. The love for fatherland is the first thing.
Okay. Gwladys.
Effectivement, Amadou Tanté, nous restons toujours dans l'économie. Ce matin, le journal L'économie quotidien nous révèle qu'il y a 50 millions de francs CFA qui ont été investis dans la production de cacao dans le Ndja et l'Obo au Cameroun.
50 millions francs
50 millions de francs CFA, Amadou Tanté.
Invested in cocoa sector.
By the government?
By the government.
By the government. I think this is a very marvelous initiative. These are the kind of things that we are expecting our government to do, because to encourage the farmers, one of the most important things. I think I'm using this opportunity to say that even within my own division, in Bomotonguina division, we have a lot of company like UNVDA is a very big company that is supposed to produce rice. Those are the kind of things that the government, we need the government to pump in a lot of money there, like what you are saying that they did in Ndja and Lobo. I don't know if that one is because
should it only end at the level of pumping money at the end of the day?
No, they need to control the money and control these things.
Take the cocoa and send abroad the manufactured chocolate and other stuff sent back to us very expensive.
No, it's true that normally we are supposed to make sure that apart from when they are they need to start by encouraging farmers on the grassroots level, encourage them by funding their product. After they fund their product, the government will better market for them. I mean, equally make sure that they will do everything possible to also have a domestic company that will be able to be transforming those raw material into what we need to be produced on Cameroon. Because don't need to only to remove our raw material and keep sending them out of the country, and they produce them and bring it back to Cameroon and sell it to us at a very expensive rate. We need to until we have very professional Cameroonians who have been trained in some of this sort of sectors like these things.
Amadou Tanté, pourquoi ne pas investir l'argent dans l'industrialisation de ce cacao? Pourquoi seulement dans la matière première? Parce qu'au Cameroun, on est fatigué quand même d'acheter les plaquettes de chocolat qui nous sont importées. En même temps, on peut les produire au Cameroun.
Well, I cannot say exactly why they can do so, but I know that maybe what they are doing, maybe for the moment, the person who is in charge of this ministry think that is the best thing that can be done for the moment.
Est-ce que c'est l'histoire d'un seul Camerounais? C'est l'histoire de tout le Camerounais en même temps?
Yeah, so it's an issue that concerns all the Cameroonians, but remember that it concerns all the Cameroonians, but we have people who are managing that particular sectors in Cameroon, so it's based on them and the government to decide what they think can be done. But even though we just don't only need for them to come up with something so that we can criticize. We only need to have some proposition, anything that we have to propose to them, to tell them that it is preferable maybe to do this thing in a large scale rather than do it individually to individual people.
Parce que la plupart du temps, nos cultivateurs sont confrontés au fait que les personnes qui achètent le cacao leur imposent un prix. C'est eux qui décident du prix d'achat, c'est pas les agriculteurs.
Those are some of the problems. I know that to me, I was thinking that it was preferable for the government itself at least to regulate the price of all these things, make sure that everything is agreed, and they know that when you finish your product, you have to sell the product maybe at this particular center or this particular area on a fixed price. The price that we encourage to this farmer, price that will encourage them to continue with the production of their cocoa, because those are some of the things that discourage some of the farmers. Maybe you produce your cocoa this year, and you go out, people come out and buy it at a very low price, and at the end you will become very frustrated, and you might be tempted to leave the sector and to chase for other lucrative business elsewhere. And you'll be killing our cocoa sector.
Amadou Tanté, let's talk this sex scandal over there in the southwest region of the country that rocked Kaskumba. And this morning, this newspaper, Cameroon Echo, is telling us that the scandal has to do with score settling by Meme elite. Meme elite has said that what is happening in Kaskumba is a politically motivated issue that has to do with score settling.
Well, that's what they're saying.
You as a human right, because I know these are things that you guys are working on. Were you able to find out? Have you people started investigating?
No, sincerely speaking, I've not done any investigation or tried to verify anything on what happened in Cuba. But I think, as we keep saying, that when something as such is coming, or especially the issue of sex scandal is something that has been recurring in Cameroon, or especially in our educational, in our different schools.
The student was impregnated by the vice principal and others, so they are investigating. 3 people have been arrested in connection to the sex scandal.
because when there's something comes in as such, at least those are the kind of things that our government need to do everything possible to play an active role and make sure that they carry out a thorough investigation to punish the perpetrators of such acts accordingly, so that it will scare other people from doing same. Because even when those people might be arrested today, the next day they will hear that those people have been released, they have been set free, and you keep this thing keep encouraging other people. When something as such happens, at least they need to sanction the teachers, those responsible on such immoral acts in school, so that it might scare other people. So that some of them will be afraid to keep on doing or to continue doing such a thing again.
But as a student with the principal or vice principal, is it not a taboo? As we all know, secondary education text forbids that. Why would a principal take upon himself to want to violate a student in his or her institution?
Well, this is a very funny thing, because normally I think if the vice principal or the principal, whosoever it is, was maybe had the intention of maybe love the lady and have intention of marrying the lady, at least it's preferable for the principal or whosoever to go closer to the parents, the family, and talk to them, to discuss with them. So even though what we are saying, I don't know if maybe the family have said anything about that. Because normally they are supposed to, at least the family, the principal or the whosoever concerned is supposed to go to the family, see the family and talk with them. Maybe that he love the daughter and I wish to marry the daughter. At least that if the consensual issue that they have agreed, apart from agreeing with the minor, because maybe if the minor or the lady might be a minor and the parent might have agreed, and with the consent of the lady and they agreed that at least something like as such, maybe I don't think there would have been much problem again, compared to maybe a situation where we don't realize that the principal have done this thing, where meanwhile nobody have any idea about it or whatsoever happened. And so such thing is already unacceptable. As I was saying, the principal, if it's the way it is, meaning that the principal or the vice need a serious sanction from the government, so that it will scare the other people from continuing with such act again.
Okay, let me take these few messages before we go. Amadou Tante, our time is almost up. Greetings to you all. Thank you for this program. Cameroonians can solve some of their problems, but not all. If the problems in the northwest and southwest region could be solved by Cameroonians, that could have been done since before now. Barry is writing from Marwa, and this other one says, good morning, sir, and happy to be there for the people. I want to say that as far as the old people remain at the top, nothing good will ever come out. When they keep on increasing taxes, what do they do with the money? There are many things that the government can raise money, and because of mismanagement, the money is always short. I am Joe from Bafoussam. Joe is writing from Bafoussam. Amadou Tante, your last word. We have come to the end of the program.
Well, let me conclude by saying that at least we're talking about the issue of international supervised referendum, while saying that at least we are praying that the issue, the initiative in Canada should go on Petu, that equally praying that the different faction of the separatist fighters or the different stakeholders of the Anglophone crisis to make sure that they follow up this initiative and to make sure that they debate genuinely to see, for us to see if there will, something positive can come out of this initiative, because as I said, I'm praying that every initiative should be taken into consideration. We should not neglect any initiative that comes up toward the
and that must begin with Cameroonians and the people concerned, not the international community.
Not all of them, at least all of them. I think the international community should be part of it. As I said, I think you heard one of the messages sent by one of our somebody who was watching this program. We said that at least Cameroonian problem can be solved by Cameroon, but not all the problem. As I said at the beginning, that had it been this Anglophone crisis was resolved at the beginning, when it just started, the government would have been possible for Cameroon to resolve it within Cameroonians at the beginning. But since the thing has escalated to an extent where I think can only be resolved now with the presence of the third party mediator, which is obviously the international community.
Okay, thank you, Amadou Tante, for coming. Thank you, televiewers of My Media Prime, for watching this other edition of the program, which was produced for us by Christain, Tebong, Gwladys, Bomotonguina, and myself. We were here for the presentation. Hopefully, we will be with you tomorrow for another edition of the program. Bye-bye for now.